Welcome to Inspiration Inc., a brand new series featuring luminaries from India who have inspired generations with their achievements and aura. We bring you beyond the boardroom conversations and witness the other side of these legends.
Welcome to Inspiration Inc. We have a very special guest with us today. We have one of the most successful fund managers in the Indian industry today, Mr. Nimesh Shah from ICICI Pru. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. I want to ask you a very basic question. You are in an industry where, we see a lot of movements happening. We see a lot of, and not in terms of market movement, in terms of people shifting jobs and things like that. But you have spent more than 2 decades in ICICI, and your journey has been quite inspirational. So if you have to sort of sum it up in a couple of lines, what would that be?
This is my 26th year in this organization. Right between, I started my career with ICICI, Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India Limited. And I have been with the group for now more than 2 decades. Yes, you are reminding me that this is the 26th year. This organization, we were a single product company. It was a project finance company. When I joined the company, for project finance.
Yeah.
Then actually Indian financial system has developed with this group, right? We are very proud to say that the automation in banking started with ICICI Bank, whether it is the internet banking which was envisaged in 1997 or the first ATMs in the country, the way we spread ATMs across the country. So you being part of this group, I was able to see the changes that are happening and work in different departments, in different businesses. Before joining this asset management business, I've been to 5 or 6 different businesses within the ICICI group, whether it is which other group I would have got this kind of opportunity of working across different businesses. So that's the interesting part of the group, whether it is project finance, working capital, whether it is retail finance, whether it is international finance, and then asset management. So we are spread across the group, and I had the opportunities of working across different businesses at different points of time.
So you believe in staying invested for long term, be it
Yeah,
career
so
or markets?
yeah. So that's what has happened.
Right. But tell me one thing, obviously there were multiple roles that you have, I would say, you've been into in last 26 years at ICICI. But when you started your innings at ICICI Pru, and I believe in last 10-11 years, the AUM at ICICI Pru has almost grown by 10x under your leadership. So did you foresee that kind of growth happening in the industry and in ICICI Pru?
Actually, frankly, we never planned that way. It is never planned. The way we look at it in ICICI is that I always say, see, we have seen different phases of business. I joined this business in 2007. 2007 to 2008, the business was doing well. Then the Lehman crisis happened. Yeah. And then for the next 1 year, nothing. It was a crisis management situation for those 2-3 months. And then in 2009, the whole business for next 2009 to 14, because of the changes in the way business was being done, 2009 to 14, nothing much happened, right, in this business. It was a consolidation. So at different points of time, the kind of environment we had, at some point of time, you have got tailwinds, sometimes you have got headwinds. Again, 2014 onwards, we did work with a very beautiful tailwinds. So in fact, I remember one conversation that I was having with my board in 2009, is that the business is going to be tough, and for the next 3-4 years we do not envisage any euphoria coming into this business the way the situation was. And the guidance from the board was very clear. The guidance was that let us try to work and make it a company where when the good times come, right, we are one of the strongest company in the group, and this company is all about investments. ICICI Prudential, what is our DNA? DNA is investment. Everything else is peripheral, right? If our investment function, which is the main function of the company, if that gives a good investment experience to the customer, right? The customer we are the custodian of his money. We are investing his money in a fiduciary capacity. If we give him a good investment experience, right? So the whole company's culture that we created in those phases was a completely investment centric culture, which works for the customer's interest. So once 85% of our sales that happens in this company is from existing customer. So if you have a satisfied customer, he will reinvest with you, and that is how the AUM grows. So don't bother about anything else. When the way the board sets up KPIs for us, there is one single KPI, that how much percentage of our funds are doing better and are doing a good job for the investor. We internally track a thing called happy customers. Happy customers indicates how many of the customers have got absolute and relative returns that we have created for the customer. We have seen as long as your happy customers ratio is good, they reinvest with you, and you have got a good market share.
Tell me one thing, it's been almost a decade since Lehman crisis happened, and you rightly said that initial 3-4 years post Lehman crisis were quite bad in terms of sentiment and investor behavior also. But now over a period of time, over a period of 10 years, do you think that behavior has changed? Do you see evolution happening in the mindset of investors, especially the retail side?
See, this industry, there is an infinite opportunity, I call it. When you are working in a business in a country like India, the beauty about India is that you are sitting with infinite opportunities wherever you go.
Yeah.
So whichever business you are in, as long as you can get the retail customer in and make it profitable for you, the opportunities are unlimited. I think investor has become much smarter, right? And he is much more informed than he was 10 years back. In this 10 years, I think a lot of investor education, and I will give a lot of credit to the media for that. I think media, if you see any publication, even regional publication, there is a personal finance page in it. One thing people have understood, that even people who are in the finance field, maybe bankers or even some of the finance journalists, they are not so sure about what investments they are doing. I have seen with a lot of people. So the personal finance pages is helping in becoming the investor more smarter. I'll give you one example. Earlier, we used to get outflows when the market's correct. Now you never get outflows when the market's correct. You get outflows when the market goes up. So the investor is becoming smarter. That's what my experience is. People don't panic if 6 months return is bad or 1 year return is bad. People are very clear they are in the business for 3 to 5 years. So the average tenure of people investing with us has increased, right? For the average tenure that people are with us is now more than 3.5 years. So that's the positive part that is happening. From 10 years back, the people were staying with mutual, the retail investor was staying in mutual funds for less than a year. From less than a year, he has gone to 3.5 years. So people have understood by direct stocks, you make in some stocks, even if you're an informed guy, you make money in some stocks, you don't make money in other stocks. Ultimately it averages out. So this current boom phase was also people taught that, right? In the last 6 months, again, I believe. So investors, I think awareness about financial products is much more. People are asking the right question, and that will further increase with the changes that SEBI has made. I think people are going to be further, and I think this investor awareness is improving every day.
If we look at, and I mean, obviously this is a proven fact that their behavior has changed. So can we say that old market theory, that typically a lot of fresh investors or first time investors, their litmus test happens when a serious correction takes place, and how they behave, how they react, whether they exit or they deploy more money, that is actually tested when a serious correction happens. So what is your sense this time? Because it may not be a correction, but we are in a very choppy zone right now.
I think people are coming in for the long term. From the behavior, I can say the way SIPs are increasing, right? SIP balances are increasing. So I believe that people have, mutual funds has been positioned as a long-term product. Mutual fund has not been positioned as a short-term product. So distribution has done, and if you see the quality of sales that has also happened, say in my company, ICICI Prudential, since the market went above 33,000-34,000, we have, or in the last 5 years, we started promoting only relatively defensive products. As a company where we have taken positioning, I know that I'm not in the business. I don't want to give negative experiences to customers in the market. My whole thing is, whether we don't focus on giving great positive experiences, we don't focus on that. We focus on not giving negative experiences.
But doesn't that backfire sometimes?
No, because in a phase, say last 2-3 years, markets were going up.
Yeah.
Still I was selling only conservative products. Since last 4 years, we have been only promoting. We promoted very aggressive products in 2013, where we asked people to invest in mid caps and all. By 2015, fantastic return came in that. So since 2015, this whole company has been promoting only conservative products. Right. At times we have gone wrong. We gave a call in mid caps is as early as 2016. In 2016, we told people to get out of mid caps, that mid caps are expensive. Still we went about and people understood that. Right? In January 2018, we actually gave back the money. Whatever mid cap money we had got, we had some small cap money we had got, we actually gave the money back. We lost a lot of revenue because of that, but the customers appreciated. I got money back because of that. So I think the customer has evolved big time. He understands and he has come in for the long term. That's what my experience has been, and that is, look at the SIPs coming in. Market is going up, market is going down, but no SIPs are stopping.
So now coming back to your career and the way it has progressed, is this what you always wanted to do, work in mutual fund industry? The reason I'm asking this is because you have experience in various verticals, I would say, or categories. So you didn't start your career with mutual fund industry.
I joined Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India to do project finance.
Yeah.
And project finance is very similar to you would want to come to the EBITDA level of a company. Right, so then only your interest can come, your principal can come back when you are giving money, and you have to take a 5 to 7 year view on that company.
Yeah,
it is very similar to do. I was fascinated by equity research. I thought I'm talking about 1993, the right way to get into capital markets was to learn equity research. That's what I felt. And to learn equity research, since in 93 there are no equity research firms, the best thing was to learn project finance, which was very similar in nature. But by 96, a lot of things started happening in this company. So my focus went away from equity research to getting into and developing businesses. Right. So that 96 to 2002 was a phase where you get into ICICI Group, got into various, those 10 years were very exciting years where you started a lot of new things in the country per se. So whether it was the bandwagon of retail finance and also, it was not that planned out. You got into whatever excites, whatever you could spread across the country. That's the advantage of working for the ICICI Group also.
True.
So you today in this job, in any job, if you are heading a business at this group, you are able to influence life across the country. That is what the driver is. So it was retail finance earlier, or today if it is, or corporate banking earlier, and today it is asset management. But asset management is a very exciting place.
Yeah, it is.
And that's where whenever you want, you can be an investment professional, whenever you get into distribution, whenever. So that's the beauty of this job.
But what has been your biggest challenge in that case? Every job has its own challenge.
Every quarter is different in this business. Whether right now, whatever you are talking, we had a very interesting time in 2008, post Lehman, where the complete liquidity in the market was completely sucked out. So it was a very development as a manager is brilliant in those times. So money is going out every day. So liquid fund returns every day. You are in the market, you have to manage that situation, and we managed that situation well. So I think that experience of 2008 stays with me throughout every day. So whenever today we are very comfortable, right? People are talking about some liquidity, this one, but we are extremely comfortable because in my drawer I've got my notes of 2008. I don't forget that in the night I used to I write down what we'll do tomorrow morning exactly. So I have kept it in my drawer. First thing I open my drawer, I always see those papers. I can invariably see my notes of 2008. So that reminds you that 2008 can come anytime. And you have to be always prepared for that, because we are managing liquid money, and every day we should need to ensure that we are able to make the payments tomorrow.
That's very inspiring, because so principally if we look at it, you are somebody who would not want to forget one, mistakes if at all any were made, and two, lessons learned by them. So tell me one thing, who do you consider as your market guru or the most inspirational person when it comes to market?
My experience is there are different people you meet. There are a lot of smart people you meet every day. Right, this business, one of the beauties of this capital market business is you meet a lot of smart people on a consistent basis. Right, that's the beauty of this business. And when you meet those, there are different aspects in different people that you appreciate, and somewhere, and you know yourself what you are, right? And some of those qualities you may try to imbibe over a period of time, but it's not that because every person has got his plus points, every person has got his minus points. So there is no natural that this person. It's not one person. There are different qualities that different people have, and you try to imbibe them.
What triggered your interest in equity research when you said that you were, while you were in project financing, you were still somewhere tilted towards equity research?
Capital market would always excite me even as a child. I come from a Gujarati background, so right in school itself, you see your parents lifestyle, and you see they are also involved in capital markets. So that comes naturally. I don't know where it started.
But your parents used to invest.
I
your
remember
father.
as a child also I used to pick up Economic Times and do the quantity. My father would give me his portfolio, and my only job was to pick up the price
Calculate.
from the newspaper and calculate the market value. So that would take half my Saturday, half my weekend would go into that. So I don't know when it started, but it was always that I wanted to do something with the capital market. So it's nothing new.
So you are living your dream? That's
Yeah,
what
yeah, I
your
quite
work is
enjoy. Every day in the morning I'm quite excited to come to office. It is a very exciting place for me to come, and it has always been like that.
Now, this is a tricky one, but I really want you to try and answer this, because I think this is the learning which is very difficult to come by otherwise. So, tell me your most memorable investment call and one most regrettable investment call that you ever made.
It's the, again I'm saying, it's the experience of this one. I
Lemon
would not get into specifics, but I get very excited when if there is an issue in the company, when there is a problem, I think the adrenaline in my body, I'm very charged up, right? If there is a issue in the company somewhere, wherever, whether it is on the sales side, when the market side, investment side, any place where there is a problem, I get very charged up managing that situation. So adrenaline really flows fast.
So you go on the front foot and try
when
and
there is,
resolve that. No, I was asking you about
I don't get
investment
stressed.
philosophy actually. So
Investment, we have always been on the value side. We don't believe that it is we believe that it is a 3 to 5 year call. We believe that I have not been able to explain 2-3 things in the market, which essentially defines us. I believe that any good fund manager will underperform for a year or two, right? You have to give 1 year underperformance does not mean anything. A fund manager has to perform over a cycle. What is a good fund manager supposed to do? Good fund manager is supposed to identify a trend before anybody else identifies that trend.
yeah.
So sometimes you identify trend early, and it might take a year or two for the rest of the market to understand that. That is all about. Then only you can be a winner, right? So you have to take a trend ahead of the market, right? So there can be underperformance for a year or so, but still we have not been able to explain people that effectively that 1 year performance should be ignored. 1 year is not material. 3 and 5 years is material in my mind. Second thing that we very strongly believe is in the debt side, that a lower YTM is better, right? That we have not been able to explain the world. In a credit risk fund, say, right, where you are taking credit risk, a lower YTM means you have given lower risk to the customer. We have not been able to explain people that in India, we have not been able to explain risk adjusted return to the customer.
Correct.
People look at absolute return. There was a
Absolute.
fund of ours which is called ICICI Prudential Multi-Asset Fund. It was called ICICI Prudential Dynamic Fund before. This fund is running from 2004. It has got a return which is as good as any other fund in the market. Any other very big fund, well-performing fund in the market, return is exactly the same. But it has given the same return with a very low risk. So we have not been able to explain people that you should buy this because the risk, whether on the equity side or on the debt side, the risk-adjusted return concept is something that we have not been able to explain to the customers, and that's what I'm still working on. Situations like this, why ICICI Prudential is so comfortable, because my risk management has worked very well, and they have identified that NBFC ALM mismatch will be an issue in a tight money market situation quite early. So that is because my risk management worked well. I have been very comfortable right now.
So tell me one thing, in the middle of all this, how do you find time for yourself, or how do you unwind, or how do you, if I may say so, recharge yourself?
I don't understand that question itself. This whole concept.
You don't need a recharge?
I am very charged when I come to office. I don't think I need a break. When people say they need a break, I don't need a break. I'm very happy to come to office every day.
Yeah.
So while I do the usual vacations and spend time with the family, etc., but I don't need a break per se.
Who's the most inspirational person you have met? Don't tell me there are many. I'm sure there are
Again,
many,
some things you like from some people. Say when I look at when I see Sachin Tendulkar, and I have seen him right from the time that I was in my teens, right? We have been seeing Sachin Tendulkar since a long time. But what I find very interesting about him is the humility that he has been able to manage. I have never seen one arrogant situation. He has been in public life for so long. 20 years plus he has been in public life. I have not seen one incident where he has lost his cool, where he is, where you have seen arrogance on his face. It is very difficult. It's not easy. So much success at such an early age.
It can get on your head.
It can get on your head. It's very natural to get on your head. It's very uncommon not to get on your head. I have seen a lot of my peers doing very well in life, and then I have seen their behaviors changing over a period of. This man, I admire him not so much the cricketing part. The non-cricketing part is something which is very, very admirable. Even when I see Dhoni, right? When I see his body language, when I see the cool as a captain, I really admire Dhoni, because the way he is captain cool or whatever, and all these compliments have been given to him. The way he's been able to manage without displaying any emotion is just fantastic. There are different people, different skills, but this part of Sachin Tendulkar is something of not putting, because that is very much required, because the market at any point of time brings you down to earth. So this remaining cool, remaining and success not going in your head is something which is very, very motivating, and learning from Sachin Tendulkar.
Now, there are a lot of people who are maybe working in your team, or maybe working under you, and today they are also CEOs in different mutual fund companies and all. That speaks volumes about your own leadership quality. How do you feel when you see people who are working with you?
We feel very happy. Nowadays we have got a club of people. There are 6-7 of us, so who are ex-ICICI Prudential, who are CEOs at various
all
places.
All of you sit together and decide market kahan leke jana hai.
वो तो नहीं करते हैं, but definitely you feel happy that people are successful all around, and we feel we have got brand ambassadors outside. Right. It's a clear this one. Then it helps. Whenever a person leaves, I always say treat people well when they are in office. But if somebody resigns, is going out, treat him better, because he is going to be your brand ambassador outside the company.
Is there any one thing that you want to change about your life? Any one thing?
I don't think so much. I'm very happy with.
I like that answer.
Frankly, that's the real answer. That I don't think so much. I'm very happy with what is going on. I told you, I'm very charged up to come to office in the morning, and that's it.
One last question I'll take from you. You know, and this is about India. When we refer to India, and you know, because of our business, because of our work, we interact with a lot of people from different strata. One thing which is very stark is everybody is very confident about India's future. Everybody feels that India will grow, India will be a superpower. Problem begins when you ask them about their future. You know, then you sense that hint of insecurity, or that hint of uncertainty is there. In their voice you can actually gauge it. What would you like to tell them? If you were telling, let's say, your retail investor today.
I can say my own way of looking at, of course, business environment is uncertain, right? While long term you can say India is going to do very well. My business may or may not do. It has done very well over the last 4-5 years. I don't know exactly how it will do or not do well for the next 3 to 5 years. In professional life, there can be a lot of uncertainties that can come, right? Yeah. That is true even in my case also. There is nothing is guaranteed. But I can do whatever is in my control, I can take care of it. There can be things which are not in my control, right? So I can't do anything about those. So why worry about those things which are anyway not in your control? So focus on those things, that we are a simple AMC. We manage money for people. So when you get money, you manage it properly. Do only what we started the talk with. We end the talk also with the same thing, that if it's a very simple business, you get money, you manage it carefully, money will automatically come, right? Will the environment change? Business environment will keep on changing. It is a regulated industry. Regulations will keep on changing. Environment will completely change dramatically. And as long as you have changed yourself with the changing environment, you will survive, and you have managed money well. We are right now in asset management. When you are managing money, manage money well, everything else will fall in place. That's the simple philosophy that you keep in life, things go okay.
I want to compliment you for one thing, you know, in this entire discussion. I think the most important takeaway for me is that you respect people's money a lot. It is their hard-earned money, and that is something which is very remarkable. It's been a pleasure having you on this show, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.